Hey everyone, Stuart here. Look, I've just finished shooting my video that I've released to my wide audience on YouTube about what I've been doing in the lead up to the launch of my Energy Slaves comic and what I've been doing in the launch of my stumcm website, which I've just re-released in May 2017. And I thought I'd just do this little video for my Patreon supporters to give you a little bit of insight into what's been going on. I tried to keep that other video fairly short. With this video, I just thought I'd tell you a little bit more of what's been happening here, and in particular why things have been dragging on a little bit lately. And I think there are two main things. The first thing is the Energy Slaves comic itself, and the second thing is the website deployment process. So Energy Slaves took a lot longer for me to write, draw, and publish than I was expecting, and that's probably because of the subject matter, because I'm trying to capture quite a large concept, if not set of concepts with Energy Slaves. You know, I'm talking about the role that energy plays in our civilization, and I'm making a lot of specific, giving a lot of specific stats about, you know, the amount of human workers that would be needed to do some of the work on a daily basis or on a yearly basis. And I guess it's a field of research that isn't that well understood because simply there haven't been enough people looking at this field of research. So I've had to look at Buckminster Fuller's initial research, which I have later found has had some flaws in it, including getting a decimal point in the wrong place and therefore being out by a factor of 10. And I've also had to show this work to a number of energy experts and physicists just to verify that what I'm saying is actually true, because as you know, I like to be as factual as I can with my comics, and sometimes I was wondering to myself whether I bit off a little more than I could chew with Energy Slaves, because I was really going into a whole new terrain that hasn't really been discussed by enough people. So to get to the guts of it, Energy Slaves had to go through 2 or 3 draft versions before we got to the final version at the moment, and therefore that's a big reason of why it's taken so long between even the extract. Things have changed a fair amount behind the scenes from the extract to the finished version. That's all I have to say about Energy Slaves. I'm glad that it's out there now, and it's got an important place in my back catalogue. It's kind of the companion piece to Peak Oil, I think, in terms of my say on fossil fuels and human civilization's use of fossil fuels. And then of course the second big thing that I've been doing with myself lately is moving from the old stumcm website to the new website. It's something that had to be done. I had to get something that's a lot more graphically appealing, as well as with a whole code base behind it which is actually up to date. And I'm really happy with the website that I've got now after the redevelopment. I'm happy with how it looks on the front end, and I'm happy with how the back end works as well, because with the old website, often it was just me understanding this maze of things I had to do to even do simple things like get comics published or to get items added to my CV section of the website. So what the team have done with this new website is it's really good to look at. It's really responsive, and the back end is really, it's a real pleasure to use as well. So I'm hoping that now that this new website's up and running, I can find someone to handle a lot of the grunt work, which I've personally been having to do when it comes to managing all the language translations of my website, because as you know, my website's translated into French and German and Spanish. It's kind of been me organizing that all mentally, but I'd love to get someone, you know, maybe a single parent who wants a bit of cash work, or maybe a student who wants a bit of cash work. If anyone like that comes to mind, feel free to put them my way. And if there's someone who can stay around for a few years and who can really understand how the back end works, I'd love to be able to train someone and to be able to pay them to do that kind of work. But unfortunately, it wasn't the case of just taking the old content and putting a new skin on top of the whole website. There was a lot of manual copying and pasting across from the old site to the new website, as well as you know, taking an image that was this ratio and sort of re-exporting it to be a different resolution and a different ratio. So I tried to get assistants to help me as much as possible with that, but there was it was inevitable that I had to be the one giving the final oversight to a lot of things on the website. So I guess what I'm saying with this video is I feel like I've been doing a lot of non-cartooning and non-comics stuff lately, and I've been feeling a bit guilty with you crowdfunding supporters out there, presumably expecting me to continue to release comics. I'm feeling a bit guilty about that, which is, as I mentioned in the other video, for the people out there who are giving me $10 per month for the limited edition postcards, I'm about to send out 3 postcards simultaneously, or maybe not simultaneously, maybe sort of staggered 1 week apart or something like that, just to thank you guys for bearing with me as I get everything up to scratch here. My hope is now that the website's up and running, now that Energy Slaves is published and I don't have to continue with all these constant rewrites as I talk to the physicists and the energy experts, hopefully that's all behind me now and I can focus on new projects ahead of me. And other things, you know, I guess with my comics as well, I really, the message that I drive home with my comics is about how people should be more connected to their community and socially connected with other people out there in the city and the community that they live with. And I guess in the last 6 months I've been trying to practice that as much as possible. So here in my hometown of Canberra, I've been organising the Green Drinks event, which is sort of an environmental networking event. I've actually been doing this since 2009, but it's something I've been taking a lot of pride in. And I've also stepped up to help to organise Sunday Assembly Canberra, which is it's the local offshoot of the Sunday Assembly concept, which is kind of a worldwide concept for people like myself who are non-religious, don't have any sort of faith, but see the benefit of having a community to go along and hear an interesting speaker, to sing some secular songs with a choir of other people in the community. Often we'll be singing Stevie Wonder or the Beatles or Queen or something like that. And just to have an opportunity to meet people over tea and coffee at the end of the event. So that's something that I've been enjoying attending as a participant for the last year, but I've not only found myself on the organising committee of Sunday Assembly Canberra, but I've begun actually hosting the event. So all of a sudden I'm the guy with the microphone at the front of the event. That's another factor that's been in my life lately. I don't think it's particularly been influencing my comics output to a large degree, but I guess a lot's happening in general with me. But I think everything that I do has positive outcomes. And for example, I was saying a piece about at Sunday Assembly in December 2016, I delivered a piece about how I deliberately limit the amount of technology in my life by blocking my internet access during certain hours of the day and by choosing not to have a smartphone. Even though I was doing that sort of work for Sunday Assembly, I've actually found an outlet for that in my comics, because I'm about to release a series of 4 comics about some of the particular ways that I use or don't use technology with my life. And I think getting practice speaking through Sunday Assembly and Green Drinks and so forth, it's got to be good for my ability to just be a science communicator and appear in these YouTube videos and be on podcasts and that sort of thing. So I just want to say I haven't forgotten about you, my crowdfunding supporters. There's a lot of content I've been keeping behind the curtain that I'm about to release, and I just wanted to say thanks so much for sticking with me. As I mentioned in that last video that I shot, you're a really great proof of concept that I haven't had a major internet hit that's been as viral as Rat Park or Supernormal Stimuli for the last couple of years that I've had this Patreon campaign up and running. So it's great to know that I've got you guys supporting me to the tune of $500 per month, and hopefully others will come on board to be able to ratchet that up to about $2,000 per month, which is kind of the amount that I'm aiming for to be able to live comfortably on as an independent cartoonist and social commentator. So spread the word, share my comics around, share the top 10 essential graphic novels video around, because I think that's a really accessible way for people to learn about me and to learn about some of my views on art and how people can get involved with comics and graphic novels. So I'll be doing a bit more video content. Thanks for your role in keeping me going, and I'll see you next time.